Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Bobbi Pominville, and I'm your reporter on the arts. Just want to tell you that today is a music episode, and I've always wanted to talk to a music therapist. So I want to welcome Becky Pansch to the show today. Welcome to you. I just recently met her. I want to tell you about her a little bit. She has a BA from St. Olaf College. Well, we found out we both have that. And you also went on to school when you decided on music therapy. So you got a music therapy equivalency at the University of Minnesota and another degree or whatever, music therapy certificate from Colorado State University at Fort Collins. Well, I knew there wasn't therapy at St. Olaf because I had a friend that was going into it. So when I met you, you happened to be at the FIPS doing, telling us about music therapy. I loved your talk there. So now you're here and I have a few questions. Tell us how you evolved into music therapy as your job focus.
Okay, well, as you said, I have a BA in music education from St. Olaf College, which at the time that I graduated, for personal reasons in our family, I ended up not teaching that first year, and instead I ended up working at a nursing home and doing music activities at the nursing home. And during that year, I observed how powerful music is in transforming people. I saw magic things. They seem like magic. They're not magic. Music has wonderful qualities that brings the best out in people. But I observed that year, and then I went on and did other things for a few years, raised children, taught privately, and then 9 years after I graduated from St. Olaf, I decided I was going to go back into school, and that's when I went to the University of Minnesota, became a music therapist because of some of my own personal experiences with which at the time there was a lot of talk about the body-mind-spirit connection. And I thought, what better way to make those connections than through music? So that motivated me to come back into school and get that degree. I very definitely wanted to work in a medical setting, and I particularly wanted to work in a hospice program. I was too uninformed to know that there were no jobs at the time. It was a brand new thing, which is a good thing I didn't know that, because as I was graduating and finishing my internship, that is when a brand new position was being created in a hospice program in the Twin Cities. And I ended up being hired into that position. So the woman who hired me actually is still a Health Partners, Park Nicollet music therapist. We are still fast friends. So she and I were the only two people in Minnesota at the time working in hospice. And that was in 1996.
Not very long ago.
No, but since then, music therapy has grown enormously in the country, but in particular in the Midwest and in Minnesota. And I'm less familiar with Wisconsin because I'm new to the Wisconsin music therapy scene. But so I did have a long career in music therapy in hospice. Mm-hmm. I retired, quote, a year ago from that. Still wanted to work part-time. And through that network of friends, the same dear Dawn Miller, who works at Park Nicollet, is the one who told me there was going to be a new position created at Hudson Hospital. Yes. So that is how I found out about the job.
We are so lucky that you landed in Hudson.
Thank you.
I'm just so delighted about that because I haven't run across many music therapists. And, you know, I've had parents and a sister and different people in the hospital. So I've been like, That would really be great because my family loves music. So now tell us this. What is the main job of a music therapist toward the patients?
Well, for music therapy in general, and also specifically at the hospital, music therapists first assess for whatever need there is, and we also assess for preferred music, what kind of music people have enjoyed or have motivated them in the past. And then we take music and use it as our tool for whatever outcome is needed. Mm-hmm. So our primary job is to have a non-musical outcome by using music as the tool. So for some people that might be, for example, if someone has a lot of anxiety, it might be to increase their relaxation and reduce that anxiety. It can be effective with pain. For some people, there's a lot of emotional charge going on when you are not feeling well and you are maybe in failing health, and there's a lot of emotions attached to that. So it can be an effective way to provide some emotional support. Music has a way of getting at emotions, yes, even more than talking sometimes.
Very much
so. The combination of the music and the supportive conversations that we have can be very effective. Some people are in need of spiritual support, and so much music is spiritually based. Some people get hospitalized for a long time and they are just plain bored, and they need some socialization or something that will brighten their day. Sky is the limit. You know, yes. Sometimes people have trouble sleeping in a hospital. It's a very common problem because there's so much going on. And right. So I can promote sleep through that relaxation.
That sounds like my husband. He was he was in intensive care for heart issues, and he couldn't sleep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they put him by a door that was bang, bang. And so when I came, he was like in quite a state.
Yeah.
He could have used music.
Well, and music not only helps people relax, but in an environment like a hospital, mm-hmm. the music also will temporarily mask the other sounds going on, because you hear people in the hallway, you hear beepers going off sometimes, you hear doors closing, and it can just create an environment that's focused just on that person. And for example, if I do a relaxation session with people, I'm asking them what kind of music they might like and what kind of images they might like for me to either include in a song or I will talk through a guided imagery while I'm playing music.
You know, that just relates so much to what we were talking about a little while ago. And that is, have you noticed an effect you've had on someone through your music? And I had no idea you prepped that much. I thought you just went in and it was okay, and but like, do you want to talk about that a little?
Sure. A lot of people assume that we go in to entertain people. And I tell people I can be very entertaining, yes, but I am not there as the entertainer. I am there to accomplish something that would be helpful to them. So I will ask, we're trying to ask about pain and anxiety and specifically, but sometimes there are other things that people are working on.
Right.
And it's been really a privilege recently to go into the birth center, where there are some very stressed and tired parents. And so to be able to promote some sleep for them has been just an extra blessing.
Oh, that's
recently.
Wonderful. I really enjoyed talking to you. This is fun. I was going to ask you about how this position became a reality, but it seems like you heard about it from someone. Then you interviewed.
Yes, but the position itself, which is supported by the Hudson Hospital Foundation,
right?
That was apparently many years in the process.
Oh,
many years in the making, and it had been dreamed it had been a dream for quite a while before I entered the scene.
Yes.
Thank you to some people who helped that happen through the foundation, and also
Yes.
through my supervisor, Erica Schendel, played a very important role in that as well.
Right.
Apparently, it took like 6 years to come up with the funds to fund the initial hours that I was
Yes.
hired into. I began here, my start date was end of June. I really have seen patients since July. They had approved 10 hours a week, which was perfect for someone who was looking for part-time work. Of course, as soon as people get a taste for this, they want more because it's such a good fit in a hospital setting. So I have been approved for some more hours, but of course, they're always looking to expand. So
Yes.
the foundation has just been a wonderful support.
I'm so glad to hear that because, in this town and living here for many years, I have been up at the hospital many times, and I've heard lots of different speeches about different things, and it's been so interesting. But when I think about it, the fact that they initiated that is really important
Yes.
because it's not going on all over.
No. Although there are a lot more hospitals that do.
Oh, good.
And Hudson is part of the Health Partners umbrella.
Oh, yes.
And so there are a
right.
network of music therapists that do work at other hospitals.
Okay.
Within the Health Partners system, they have a strong music therapy community.
Well, that is, I'm just so happy that Hudson has you again. I have to say that. Now, you work 2 days a week, but you just said there might be a few more hours coming. Are you able to see all the patients that need therapy?
Well, of course, there would always be room for more.
The goal,
so
yeah.
the answer is there are always people that you don't get to see that you would like to see.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in the beginning, with just the 10 hours a week, I was focused primarily just on the medical surgical unit and seeing primarily people in what are called swing beds, which are people that are there for a
yes.
longer period of time, and then seeing other patients as able. Now, recently, I have been able to add a few more hours in, up to 15, and so I've had more time to go into the birth center. That's been wonderful. We hope someday to be more expanded into the infusion center. I've had just very little opportunity to get into the infusion center, but that is a place where it could be expanded.
Oh, yes.
I have had a very brief experiences in the emergency room, but that is another place where if I'm in the hospital, then can be helpful for certain situations. It's just kind of nice to be available wherever the need is within the hospital.
Yes,
And
very much so.
The sky's the limit for where this could be used, including in the rehabilitation new unit that they'll be building. Music therapy can be used that way too. But my focus for right now has been primarily in the medical surgical unit and then with birth center. And I guess I shouldn't forget also pre and post operative music therapy can be very effective in shortening stays and reducing the amount of medication that people need for pain and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I could think about, and I can't imagine how you could fit it all in a day or two or even 3. So wonderful. Now, do you work with a team of any sorts, like the doctors or whatever? Or do you know when you go in the room, oh, he's anxious about da-da-da?
I have been seeing people, I guess the way I would call a referral is I generally take a look at who's in the hospital. I narrow in, or I try to focus in on those people that are here for a longer stay. I will scan through the charts, and then I will always check in with the nurse who's primarily in charge of that person, and they will help me decide who is the most priority. I also have a referral system through an actual form that I developed, and the birth center uses that more often because they are in a different part of the hospital. I'm not generally seen as much there because they are behind locked doors. And so there's a referral form they've been using to self-refer.
Good.
And then the unit manager there has let me know when there's somebody who wants to be seen down there.
Yeah. Well, that sounds wonderful. Good. You're really covering a lot. So this is a little technical. What is your goal while you work with patients?
Oh boy. You know, that is as individual as the individual I am seeing.
Yes.
So, for example, there are people who come into the hospital who have maybe some dementia and they are disoriented as to where they are. It can be confusing and a scary time when there are people who are perceived as strangers doing things, you know. And so music can help orient someone to a friendly environment. They're very friendly there. I don't want to give you the wrong impression that it's more a familiar environment.
Yes.
So if I know someone's age and I know what kind of music they probably heard, I can take some guesses and provide music that might change their mood to a positive mood.
Wonderful.
And be perceived differently. If someone can walk in a room and see that someone is so sleepy and just wants to be taking a nap, and they might even say that to me, my goal for that person would not be to find out their favorite music. It would be to find something that would help them relax and fall asleep.
Yes, of course.
Other situations, people who are struggling with decisions about whether or not they're going to continue chemotherapy or whether or not they're going to continue to fight whatever medical thing they are doing, we can walk with that person. Yeah. So I've had people who came in through infusion and ended up in the hospital and then going home with hospice care and have done everything from cry with them to help them choose what music they would eventually have at their service. Yeah. Knowing that they were going home with hospice. And also just enjoying the time that they have as best they can.
That's a great answer. And when you came to the FIPS, remember, and you were happened to be at Women's Club, and you were looking at us and you were going, oh, I think I might know what kind of music you gals like. And you started with Beatles or something, and I went crazy because I was like, one of my favorite groups was the Beatles. And you know, it's really something that you're thinking that much about a person as to fit the music, kind of.
Oh, absolutely. Because in most situations, the most useful music and most healing music, if you want to use that term, is the music from the time we're born.
That's right.
Because we are hearing our parents sing those things to us till about our mid-20s, till when, you know, people's lives become very busy if they get married, have children, have jobs. And so that music then in our 20s even seems to be the music that stays with us through our life. So I will look at someone's age, the year they were born, and I will take a guess at some of the music that might be familiar. Now, of course, the style can be different. Some people love country music. Some people love opera music.
But then
we try it all.
You went from your guitar to the piano and back to the guitar, and I was like, this person is so talented. And to come in and be able to do that and adapt to the different genre and styles and everything else. And of course, I probably say, oh, I'll hear a few hymns and then maybe a little Mozart.
Yeah.
But, you know, something silly like that because of loving that for piano and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, again, you gave just the right answer.
And depending on what you needed, if you needed relaxation, I might play that Mozart very slowly.
That's right.
If you needed to be perked up, cheered up, I would play that Mozart at a different speed. because music has the elements of tempo,
Yes.
which affects us. And
That's
if I'm
right.
putting you to sleep, I will gradually slow that tempo,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is why live music works so much better than recorded music.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you can
Way
be
better.
very, you can target into the need for that person
Right.
and also target into their rhythms
Yeah.
that are going on.
Yeah, and I remember you also did You Are My Sunshine. And
Which-
that was a fun one for a lot of people. And I just, yeah, you did such a good job that day. So I don't know, is there any plans for the future? Well, you told me that they're thinking about another day and they might have added some hours, but what suggestions do you have for hospitals?
In general, I think every hospital should have a music therapist. And I would say of all the healthcare workers in a hospital, we're probably the most versatile
Yeah,
and
that's right.
and adaptable, flexible within the hospital, so that we can go to different departments. If someone has a specific need, we may be able to step in and be flexible about that. Because music can be used in so many different ways.
Yeah, that's right. So important.
Yeah.
Even if it's a person that's really never sung or played or done anything like that, they've certainly been listening to music and enjoying it. And even secondhand music is so important because they'll have a favorite,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And I just feel like, yeah, we had a brother-in-law with dementia.
Yeah.
He loved to sing. Well, he stopped singing, but he loved the music coming in.
Well, and another aspect of the music is that a lot of people, of a certain generation grew up singing. That's very familiar, and that can be very helpful. And it also can be helpful because it encourages you to deep breathe, which helps with relaxation. Yes. Or if you're working with respiratory issues, it's a natural way to work with breathing.
Oh, yeah, and that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have experienced that myself when I had my recent knee surgery. The pain was so bad at one point, and the ice wasn't cutting it. And I even went to my phone and Googled pain management. And one of the things was breathing, meditation, it went down the list. And I thought, well, I should have known that myself, from music, because you do use a different style of breathing.
Sure. And
it's important.
Can almost sing a mantra meditation.
Ooh.
Sometimes we do impromptu use of other people's words. If there's a message that they want to hear themselves, we will make up a song
that's so
in the
cool.
moment that is suited to that situation. Yeah, anything where music is used as a tool, a music therapist has probably done it. Yeah.
I love that because I never thought of that aspect before.
Yeah, and it's part of why I love this work.
Yes.
Because it's so versatile, and every day is a new challenge.
Yes.
And every person is individual and special, and I love people, and I love getting to know them.
Yes.
And what they might need and what I can help them with while I'm there. And I can tell you, it also helps the staff sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a few of them say, oh, we love it when you're here. We
Yes.
love the days when you're here.
Oh, I could imagine it's easier for them and it's better for them. And I don't know, music is such a wonderful thing to respond to. And I just have loved it my whole life. And I know that's something I admire a lot about you, because you're able to put all that together and make it really meaningful for people. And the fact that you have all these talents, and then you can adapt music to the person.
Well, that's part of what we learn when we are educated as music therapists.
Okay.
because we are learning how to use the music to accomplish that goal.
Oh,
Yeah, so some people think any musician is a music therapist, but that's not really
Not
true.
quite.
It is its own 4-year
Really?
degree, and we do internships, and then we do continuing education.
I didn't know it was a 4-year degree.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
Yes.
A lot of classes.
Well, a lot of my music education classes helped, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
why I got to do the equivalency degree instead of another 4 years.
Oh yeah, because
'Cause we
you
do
already
take the
had
music classes.
the music ed,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's really interesting to talk to you about that. And I know that people, my friends, a lot of people have said to me, I don't know what a music therapist does. And I said, well, I'm going to learn today, so you're going to watch the show. And now you graciously agreed to singing a song.
Sure.
So before we do that, I just want to make sure you know how much I appreciate you and thank you for coming today.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, of
Do we
course.
have time for that?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that the Healing Arts program at the hospital is the reason I even applied for the job.
Oh.
I heard about the job,
I like that.
but I live a long ways from here.
Yeah, you drive.
I drive a long ways.
Oh.
But the Healing Arts program at the hospital, which is a wonderful program,
Yes.
I knew about many years ago because my husband is actually an artist. And I had been to the Hudson Hospital over 20 years ago for an arts event,
Hi.
and they ended up purchasing one of his pieces of art. And
Okay.
so when I had my tour as a new employee,
Yeah.
there was the same piece of art that I have in my own
How
home.
wonderful.
And so it just feels a little bit like I've come back home or
Yeah.
I've been here the whole time in a
Can
little
you
way.
tell me what the picture's like?
It's
just
a picture.
curious.
It's called Crooked Creek, and it's of a little
Oh,
windy creek
Fun.
out in the prairie where I grew up, and it's a special
yeah.
place.
Yeah. I've been
For us.
promoting that program on my show for many
Oh,
years.
wonderful. It's a wonderful
I've had
program.
artists. The original head of the Healing Arts was Margaret Welshon.
Mm.
And she was on the show long, long ago. So I know it's passed on to someone else. But I'm so thankful they keep doing that
Well, I'm really proud
because we really
to
need
work
that.
at Hudson Hospital.
It's important to my husband and I. He's an artist too. Another thing we have in common. Yeah. So anyway, thank you again.
Thank you.
And I do want to thank the audience for watching, and stay tuned because we're going to have some music right now. Do you want to introduce your song, or should I tell them?
It's up to you. It's your show.
It's one of my favorite songs. It's a Wonderful World. And I used to teach it a bit at school, and it's always had a special meaning to me. So here's Becky performing It's a Wonderful World.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and the clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? Them really saying, I love think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful